we're going to bring in Big B, Bryan Kehl, who's here a day early. So we're going to call this Throwdown Thursday instead of Fast Friday. Is that cool?
Throwdown Thursday.
Okay, that
nice.
works.
Okay, we'll start with our
That
Twitter
works.
question. What do you expect out of the big three on offense for BYU football in 2015?
Magic. I think they're going to be just fantastic. I expect Taysom to break some records, and I think Jamaal will get the all-time rushing record. That should be no problem. I hope he breaks the single season record. I hope he just has a bounce. Both those two coming off injuries, I hope they have a bounce back year, and I expect them to. I'm excited to watch them.
So in 2009, when I played with Harvey Unga, Max Hall, Dennis Pitta, there was 62 touchdowns scored that year, and 46 of those touchdowns, those three accounted for.
Wow.
74%. How much emphasis or stock do you put into a three-headed monster like these guys?
Well, if you're a defense and you're trying to stop an offense, and they can beat you in the air, they can beat you on the ground, or the quarterback can tuck it and take off and take it to the house at any given time, that's tough to stop. So that's why it's so dangerous, because air, land, and sea. So
if you're a defensive coordinator, what are you doing to game plan against the big three?
Oh, if I'm a defensive coordinator and I'm playing BYU, it all starts and stops with Taysom Hill. It's just, I'm telling my guys, you hit him every chance you can. This is why Taysom's got to be careful. That's why he's got to be smart, is because this is what, as defensive minds, this is what we're doing. Nothing dirty. Right. Nothing cheap, nothing after the whistle, but clean, hard, physical play. Every time you get a chance to hit them, you hit them. That's what I would tell my guys, because that's all cumulative. That takes its toll. By the end of the game, he's sore, his ribs hurt, his back hurts, his legs are tired. And that's really where the offense goes. So it starts and stops with Taysom.
So let's say that you come into the game focusing on Taysom, but let's say Coach Anai hands the ball off, and maybe your weakness is stopping the run, and Jamaal just has a lights out game, and he's balling, he's killing it. Then what do? You bring up some offense or some safeties, load the box, right? So then that helps you out with Mitch Mathews.
Yeah,
right?
That's why it's so good. When you have dual threats, you look at all the great offenses in college and the NFL. They have dual threats. And that opens up, the pass opens up the run opens up the pass, and they open up each other and build off each other. And that's why, like I said, if we can get Jamaal back to where he was, get him clicking on all cylinders, Mitch he's just ready to go. And so it's just, the question mark is if those other two guys coming off those injuries, it could be a special year on offense.
We had a fun history lesson about 10 minutes ago, looking back at the power of three within BYU football history. And you've played with a couple of three-headed monsters of your own. 06, John Beck, Johnny Harleen, Curtis Brown. 07, Max Hall, Austin Collie, Dennis Pitta introduced to the offense in 07 for real. When you look back at those teams, what did you take from them in terms of motivation to get the rest of the guys going?
Well, you have confidence. When you know that you're going to score points, that gets confidence for the rest of the team. And taking those 2 years, one of the things that a lot of people wouldn't know, if we won the toss, we would ask for the ball. And most other teams, if they won the toss, they would defer. So almost every game, we started out with the ball. And I don't know what the percentages are, but a high percentage of those times, we marched right down and scored a touchdown.
Easily.
And when you do that, it demoralizes your opponent. They're playing catch up the whole game. They're playing from behind. As a defense, it changes the way you can play defense. So when you have the ability to score on offense, when you have the three-headed monster that's dangerous, that's potent, and that puts fear in the guys across the field from you, that gives the rest of the team courage. It gives us confidence, and that's why we were so good.
Bryan, let's switch over to the side of the ball that really, really matters.
Amen.
The defense.
Can I get amen?
Amen. What three positions do you think are key on a Bronco Mendenhall defense?
A three-headed monster of defense, if you will.
Well, So it can be any position, but it's a role. The first thing, and this is the most important, is a role. And I've said this before, but you got to have a guy that's just a little bit dog out there,
right.
and just maybe a couple chromosomes away from crazy. Just a couple.
Shout out Brandon Ogletree.
Just a couple chromosomes away from crazy. You want a guy out there that barks, that's intense, that's just crazy, that's got bloodshot eyes, that's got snot bubbles and drool. And you want that guy.
Could that be Cameron Jensen?
Yeah, so it doesn't matter what position he plays. He can be a safety like Andrew Rich. He can be a linebacker like Cameron Jensen. He could be a defensive lineman like Ziggy. He could be any position, but you want one of those guys. If you're talking sheer positions, I would say in our defense, the field corner is just it's just
they don't believe me.
The dude is out there on an island. He's got a lot of field to cover, and he's asked to do a lot, and it's a tough job. It's important in our defense. So I'd say the field corner is important, and then I would say whoever is the premier rusher. So usually the will, that's an important position.
Like Kyle.
Yeah, Kyle. Yep. And then it's important because so that puts pressure on the quarterback. And then the other, if you're talking positions, would be probably the middle linebacker. So he runs the show.
Now that we've talked about the important side of the ball,
notice I didn't name my own position in there. That was unbiased. I played the field outside backer, Sam, and I didn't name that. I was unbiased. I want the listeners to note that.
I would say it would be the middle linebacker, the free safety, and the field corner.
The free safety, because he runs the secondary.
That's what I would say. He runs the secondary.
Yep.
He's usually.
I wouldn't argue with that.
He's usually the another coach on the defense.
Yep. If he's messed up, everybody's messed up.
Good to know.
You want a smart free safety. You want a smart. We had Quinn Gooch and Kellen Fowler when I played. Two of the smartest guys.
A
genius, straight up genius. So. We always used to say this: they might beat us, but they won't trick us.
Right. Yep. That's
we
right.
always used to say this.
That's right.
Because we'd play guys that were faster than us. They might run by us. They might beat us, but they're not going to trick us.
So true. So true, man.
But guess what? If that's the case, you're going to be in a good position to win a lot of football games.
You are.
If you're ahead of the count on that, then you're going to be in a good position.
Play the odds.
I've been talking a lot about looking at history, of course, with the big three. And for me, the stars are lining up, Bryan, for what I feel like is a great opportunity to put together a special season. The schedule obviously is very difficult, very challenging.
It's already special.
It's opportunistic, more than opportunistic. And so people say, well, you're crazy, man. Take out the blue goggles. Like BYU, if they win 8 games, it's going to be a good season. I say, do you see what they're bringing to the table? Yeah. And every time in the recent past, every time that you have had upperclassmen and a three-headed monster, BYU has put together a memorable season. So why not this year?
Yeah.
Why not? Tell me why BYU shouldn't win 10 games.
That's the mindset you got to have. And hopefully every single guy in that locker room has that mindset. They can't, this is the biggest thing. There's expectations and there's reality, but the key is confidence. And what you don't want is guys saying, I hope we win 8 games.
Right.
That's just crap. Yeah. You want every last guy in that locker room expecting to win every game on that schedule. Every game. And you want them to step onto the field every single Saturday or Thursday or whatever it is and look across the field and say, we can beat those guys. We're going to beat those guys. And when we get there, then it will be special.
There you have it. We're just getting going with Bryan Kehl, the first of 2 segments with Big B and Little B on BYU Sports Nation. I'm going to give you something to think about during the break, Bryan. Then we're gonna go to it right after, and that is, how would you sell BYU to a room full of Big 12 executives? What would your sales pitch be?
Get ready
to the Big 12 for BYU. This is BYU Sports Nation.
Bring in the closer.